Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you may be. I am the Crypto Crow. Yes, I stole some of that from Coast to Coast AM, one of my favorite radio shows ever. It's absolutely amazing. If you're not familiar, you better check it out. It's at coasttocoastam.com. Actually, I'd love to be a guest. I'd love to be a guest on Coast to Coast with George Norrie or Ian Punnett or any of these guys. I'd love to start educating some people on the cryptocurrency markets, kind of like I'm about to do with you right now. So thanks for joining me. What we're going to be talking about is a little bit of a scary issue, and it's something that I see happening quite a bit right now. I mean, all the signs are pointing to another big depression, bigger than the Great Depression. And as we all know, the Great Depression basically lasted forever, it seems, until World War II, and started back in the 1930s. And, you know, with the money printing that's going on by the Fed right now in efforts to try and keep propping up our current economy, the result of this is very likely going to be a major Great Depression. The U.S. dollar is dropping in value. It's being debased constantly, while other assets are rising. And I'm going to show you some evidence of some of this, and I'm going to explain to you why now is the time. Now is the time to start looking outside of your savings account. It's time to start looking outside of your stock portfolio, because the fact of the matter is, you know, we had the Great Depression. We're leaning up against the next Great Depression, and you know, right now a lot of people are like, well, I've got a great stock portfolio and I've invested in all these companies. Well, the reality is that currently a lot of these companies are struggling and they're filing bankruptcy. Some of the biggest companies, which you're probably familiar with. I'm going to name some of them right now. In April, Diamond Offshore and Whiting Petroleum filed bankruptcy. In May, J. Crew, Gold's Gym, Neiman Marcus, which I'm pretty sure is a Canadian-owned company, J.C. Penney, Hertz Rental Car, which used to be worth billions, Tuesday Morning, PQ New York. In June, we had GNC. GNC filed for bankruptcy. The 85-year-old vitamin retailer saw 30% of its stores in the U.S. and Canada temporarily closed during the height of the pandemic. The dramatic negative impact of these closures led to a bankruptcy filing in late June. 24-Hour Fitness. Chuck E. Cheese. Where are our kids going to go now to catch the cold? In July, we saw Lucky Brand, Brooks Brothers, Sur La Table, New York and Company, Ann Taylor and Lane Bryant, California Pizza Kitchen. In August, we could say goodbye to bankruptcy, Lord & Taylor and the Men's Warehouse, the place I bought my very first suit. And the fact is, there are many more coming. And a lot of people think, what about oil companies? Well, a lot of these oil companies are struggling as well because people aren't going anywhere. We're not buying the oil, so they're falling on hard times. And I'm sure we're going to see, and there already have been, a great number of bankruptcies with even oil companies. The people that we have despised so long for making so much money with $4 gas prices and everything else over the last decade. And the fact is here, folks, unemployment is skyrocketing, okay? The Great Depression of 2020, the unofficial U.S. jobless rate is at least 20% or worse. The Great Depression's unemployment rate was about 25%. You know what we're talking about due to coronavirus? Whether it's necessary or not. Look, I just recovered from corona. I just had the Rona. I had it for 2 weeks. And, you know, it affects everybody in drastically different ways, but my case was very mild. I have to be honest, it was very mild. Never even got a fever, but it was uncomfortable, and I had a lot of aches and pains and fatigue, you know, slight headaches and strong congestion. I lost my sense of taste or smell for a while. I just got that back several days ago, so I'm just now at a point where I can honestly say I'm pretty sure I'm clean of corona. And I've kind of kept myself locked in a room for a couple of weeks. It's made me almost crazy. And because of the nature of the lockdowns and all of the restrictions and everything going on, for something that kills less people than the flu, regardless of how vast and fast it spreads, it's just not as damaging as we're being led to believe by major media. And while it can be extremely dangerous to some, just about anything can be. But because of this, we're seeing these increased numbers of unemployment. Unemployment insurance is one of the most searched for things on Google Trends right now in several different states because of all of the companies that are going under, closing their doors. A lot of small businesses that have been closing across the country are probably never to return. And so we're going to take this huge economic hit while the Fed is printing all this money ad nauseum, just throwing money everywhere into the trillions of dollars. I think it's something like $3.2 trillion already, and they're currently working on a new stimulus package. So this new stimulus package is expected to try and help a lot more people, but the reality is other countries are giving out monthly funds while we're just printing. Back in 1956, $100. If you had $100 in 1956, it's equivalent to almost $1,000 today due to inflation. Almost $1,000. We are in a very failing economic model right now. You know, the entire debt culture has taken over this country to such a degree that, you know, I was watching Valuetainment recently on YouTube, and I was watching an interview with an economist who was explaining the idea that, you know, there are so many people back in the day. You know, when somebody took out a mortgage on a house, they didn't retire until that mortgage was paid off so that their home was secure. But nowadays, we have so many more people filing, you know, they're going into retirement and they still have mortgage debt. And then they're on fixed incomes and they're left struggling and stressed through their final years. You know, and it's our debt society has become such an issue. And the fact is that our country, our government is ultimately leading that charge. And as the stock market is continuously boosted falsely with money that's just printed out of thin air and ultimately being devalued on a consistent basis, the fact that this is overlooked by so many is scary as well. And so what I'm here to do is try to give you some options to consider. Now, I know that a lot of you guys out there, you're thinking, oh, crypto, Crow, this crypto stuff, this Bitcoin stuff, that's the stuff that went up to like $20,000 and crashed, right? That's a scam. That's a Ponzi. That's garbage. And you don't know what the hell it is you're talking about. I remember a few years back when I first really started diving deep into cryptocurrencies, I would have people on my Facebook telling me, you can't cash it out, you can't do anything with it. And I'm like, are you insane? And so the idea of this, the first thing I'm going to let you know, this is gold, okay? This is gold against the US dollar right now. Since the very beginning of January of 2020, gold has risen 36% against the US dollar. Okay? That's 36% against the US dollar. Now, Bitcoin in the exact same time frame has risen over 65% against the US dollar. Okay? So the idea is for those of you that don't understand Bitcoin and why it did crash from 20,000 down to a low of 3, it actually started from a low of $600 before that rise up to 20,000. It rose up over like 3,000% before it crashed about 85% from the peak of the most recent market cycle. And Bitcoin's market cycle has been in effect since 2009, and that same spike in value and then correction has happened every 4 years. We call it the bull market and the bear market of Bitcoin. And it's a very common thing. And it's something that in 2017, many people, including myself to some degree, was caught off guard with because nobody knew exactly where the peak of the market was going to be. Our trajectory was to the moon. And that's what we were all thinking. The Bitcoin was going to continue rising up. It might even hit $50,000. Why? Because that's what a lot of the news media was saying, which continued to fill and build this FOMO, this fear of missing out to the general public. And because of that FOMO, so many people started buying in between $18,000 and $20,000 right before the peak of the market. That's dumb money. That's what the market calls dumb money. the smart money, the investors, the one percenters. Those are the people that are out there right now under your very nose buying up Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. They're getting into the market. And I'll tell you, 1/3 of institutions have invested in crypto, says Fidelity. This is new. This is over the past year and a half for the most part. And this is just 1/3 of institutions. And it's not necessarily saying how deep they're getting into the market, but they're all getting exposed. 1/3 is getting exposed to cryptocurrency, and it's going to continue rising. And right now, it's the one percenters throughout the world that are getting into the cryptocurrency space, hedging against the value of the dollar because they know it's going down. And the reality of the whole situation is you are going to need something that retains and increases in value, assuming we do end up in another Great Depression. There are only about 2 things that I know of that are likely to do that. Gold, which is rising because the one percenters already know what's happening, and then Bitcoin, because that's just the thing to do, right? Because a lot of the millennials are investing in digital gold, this new digital asset and store of value that is Bitcoin, while the old money, the old folks, the people that aren't necessarily in the know yet about Bitcoin are going back to the gold because that's what they've done for years. That's just what they do. They buy gold. Digital what? I don't a private key? I don't understand any of that. I just call my broker and get me some gold. That's what they're doing. And the old school is up 36%. The new school is up 65%, and Bitcoin isn't slowing down. The projected growth of Bitcoin over this peak of the bull, by the peak of this bull cycle, is projected to be well over $100,000, and it's very, very likely to happen. We're already headed there now. Think about it. We're at almost $12,000 in Bitcoin right now, and the typical bull market lasts roughly 2 years. Now, there is some proof that is shown on a logarithmic chart that every cycle is extended a little bit by several months to 6 months even. So there's a chance that this next bull market could extend even further than 2 years. And if that happens, with all of this new institutional money coming into the space, with all the one percenters across the world hedging against the US dollar, not only that, but the Winklevoss twins recently were quoted, the next Bitcoin bull run will be dramatically different from 2017, where it hit $20,000. Today, there's exponentially more capital, human capital, infrastructure, and high-quality projects than there were in 2017. Not to mention the very real specter of inflation that all fiat regimes face going forward. Buckle up. Who are these guys? These guys made billions of dollars investing in Bitcoin early on, back when nobody was even paying attention. These guys made billions of dollars and launched one of the biggest exchanges in the market, the exchange of Gemini. And these guys know what's happening because they see these metrics. They see what's coming in. They see the new money coming in. They see what Bitcoin's leaving the exchange and going to, cold wallets and so forth and so on. And they've got their button on the pulse like many other exchange operators out in the market. So when these guys say stuff, it's probably pretty accurate. And so my point to you is, you have to start learning about cryptocurrency markets. I don't care if it's technical at all. And it's getting much, much easier to adopt and use. And as a matter of fact, I have a website called chainwise.us. It's a new site. There are like 75 people on it right now. I've only mentioned it a couple times on my channel because it's not done. But for right now, you can come here, go to chainwise.us, and go to the crypto courses. There's a course right here, How to Buy Crypto in 2020. Now, this course is made up of a few simple videos. What is current cryptocurrency and blockchain, where I explain a lot of stuff that you're going to want to know. Cryptocurrency security, how to buy cryptocurrencies, and cryptocurrency wallets. These videos are going to tell you what you need to know about getting into the blockchain space, setting up your account, what wallets are, the different addresses and things, and it's going to be a very good primer, and it's free. It's free right now. Go learn. Go educate yourself. And once you've gone that route, I've already got altcoin investing for 2020 and 2021. I've got everything in here from understanding altcoins, understanding market cycles, which you're going to need to learn, market capitalization, which is going to help you understand the market and the ebbs and flows of the space, altcoin fundamentals, cryptocurrency scams that you're going to want to need to watch out for, trading versus holding, and then what are decentralized applications. And there's more coming, and it's free right now. At some point in the future, once the entire site, everything is done, it's probably not going to be free. There's going to be some sort of fee to it. But because I want you to learn, I'm keeping it this way for a while. So go to chainwise.us, register your account. It's free, and hit those courses and start educating yourself. I want you to do well in 2021 and 2022. I want you to change your life. The fact of the matter is, folks, is there is a transfer of wealth that's happening right now, and you're probably missing it. And I can't stress it enough. My life has changed drastically because of cryptocurrencies. While I was doing other things, I was busy in the mortgage industry. I was busy learning this new technology late at night, reading everything I could to try and understand what it was. And one morning I woke up at like 2 or 4 a.m., half hysterical, kind of like I am right now. And I was freaking, and I was emotional because it clicked with me. And I realized that this is the absolute future. And I'm not trying to sell you shit. If you don't do anything, that's on you. But this is my wholehearted screaming and shouting. Hell, I did the Chainwise convention. For those of you that are in Cincinnati and Northern Kentucky and this general area, I did that Chainwise convention in Sharonville for you. None of you showed up, because none of you are paying any attention. And I'm telling you right now, as those around you that are willing to pay attention and learn something new and understand where the future is going, listen, I'm telling you, the U.S. government right now is working on their own digital currency. They're working on a new digital dollar to replace the fiat currency that we use now. Everybody is on board with this. This is happening. This is real. There's no more, oh, well, this is fake, or this is a Ponzi, or this is a scam. There is no more of that. This is as legitimate as it gets. Everybody's getting into it in one way, shape, or form because it is the future. And if you want to understand why, and you want to better understand the technology, then you need to check out these courses, and you need to watch them, and you need to understand what blockchain technology is. What is a blockchain? Why does it mean anything to you? Why are smart contracts the big talk of everything? What is it empowering companies to do today that they couldn't do before? And you need to understand the technology so that you can understand the investments that you're making. And from there, you can make significant gains. Because quite frankly, guys and gals, there have been so many people who have turned $1,000 into $100,000. I personally turned $3,000 into $90,000 in 60 days. At the very beginning, when I first started getting into crypto, and I just kept growing. And you have the same exact opportunity right now. Right now. I got into cryptocurrencies in November of 2017. I did everything I did in a matter of 6 months. You've got 2 years. You've got 2 years. You've got 2 years to hedge your lifestyle against the US dollar and maintain where you are today. And you've got 2 years to continue growing and bettering yourself so that you can retire to the life you likely deserve. And that's what I want to see happen. And I'm very passionate about this because I'm very well aware of what's going on. I'm aware of what's going on in the economy. Our economy's shit. Our politics are shit. Everything about this country right now is going to shit because it's held in the hands of people of power where it does not belong. And this is a transfer of wealth that will finally help empower the good people who have been breaking their backs, working day and night to feed their families, take care of themselves, take care of those around them. And this is an opportunity for them to turn very little into a lot. If you've watched the Discovery Science channel of the television show I was in recently, Open Source Money, I go over, they use a lot of these little quips and quirks that I've said in different things, different events and things, and there are so many other people backing that up. And that information is backed up, and it's out there. It's out there for you right now if you just decide to look. Open your eyes. No more of this eyes wide shut garbage where you just keep your head down like a sheep and follow and do what you're told. This is an opportunity for you to rise up. This is a transfer of wealth that you absolutely have control over, and it's up to you as to whether or not you take advantage. This is your calling. This is me screaming to you, it's time to open your eyes before it's too late.